What up, good people? It's your boy Morgan Mall, and I'd like to welcome you all to Mall on Movies, where I talk about movies that I've seen from the theater to the couch. Now remember, I'm not a critic, I just like movies. Welcome back again to another episode of Mall on Movies, man. Like I've told y'all before, this show that we have created is for us to talk about the movies that I've seen that I like, and we just hop right into it and just pull out different details in it and just get some feedback from you all and see how that goes. And so, man, before I get started I want to shout out Day Ray Media, Daytrick behind the camera, man. How you feeling?
Yeah,
How you feeling?
Yeah, man, I feel pretty good.
All good, all good.
Disappointed about the Joker movie, but
man, we go get into it. So I'm gonna just run down real quick a list of the movies that I've seen since the last time I've been with you all, and then I'll let you know what we go highlight. So I've seen, of course, Smile 2, Piece by Piece, which is the Pharrell documentary, Exhibiting Forgiveness, My Old Self, Joker, Saturday Night, and A Different Man. And so what we'll do right now, like I said, those are the movies that I've seen. My highlight for today will be Smile 2, Exhibiting Forgiveness, and we'll hop into pieces. But I do want to jump into Joker, man. Let's just go right into it real quick, because Joker, I was just talking to Daytrick about it. It was, for me, it was overly hyped. I know people keep saying that it was a musical, or I think that's been the turnoff for folks about it being a musical. I didn't really see it as a musical. I felt that it was a movie with music in it. You know what I'm saying? Had Lady Gaga. They tied it in, but I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it for you, Daytrick. It was basically the whole movie was a court scene in and out. Joker was on trial.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how they tied it in into that. So I thought they missed the mark. And I normally, like I tell you, I really like only talking about the movies that I enjoyed. But I think it's been a wide consensus around the world and nation that they missed it on this Joker. They missed, especially after how good the first one was. So we can, boom, y'all go see it, form your own opinions, but that's what we'll rock out with that. Now, I'm a music guy for those who don't know. So my next movie, Piece by Piece, basically a documentary Pharrell did with Lego, and I was given the opportunity to go to a premiere, and the thing about it was very interesting is that upon seeing it, I thought it was like going to be just a Lego movie. Just like I didn't know what the content of it was, so I was interested, but I wasn't interested. I was interested more so in seeing what he created, but not really interested in storyline type of thing. But then when I got there and got to watch it, man, it's a full-fledged documentary about Pharrell and his start into the music industry and all of the things. And I thought it was a very, in a Pharrell way, man, like that was a creative way to put together a documentary using the Lego and telling the story from an artistic, creative piece. So I really enjoyed it. It's a very inspiring documentary, and I think what I walked away with it, outside of the inspiration of just being reminded of Pharrell's greatness, man. Like you got to remember from Virginia, he started out late '80s, early '90s, interning for Teddy Riley, and so for him hitting music on the hip hop side to the pop side, and all of that, like you were just reminded of his greatness. We're talking about three decades of music, expanding from every genre you can imagine. And so I think that, man, that was a really great piece, no pun intended, piece by piece, to actually watch. Like I said, so if you haven't seen it, please go check that movie out, because like I said, you'll learn about Pharrell. You'll be reminded of his musical genius, greatness, but also the piece in there, and I think a lot of artists go through, was when he hit that down moment of not feeling like you could create that next record or that next sound, what that next thing is. And so him coming out of that funk and us seeing what that looked like, man, it was really dope. It was really dope to see. So check out Piece by Piece by Pharrell Williams, a documentary, Lego. Shout out to Lego. That was really dope. Let me see here. I seen a movie called A Different Man. Now, and I got to pull up the details on this real quick, man, because A Different Man, I think it's kind of like a thriller drama. Hold on, real quick. So, and I want to put you all on something if you haven't seen this movie, but this actor. Hold on, let me see here. Cast. Okay, so there's an actor named Adam Pearson, and he has in real life he has a disease, a skin. Hold on, let me see here. I want to get this right. This he's diagnosed with oh man, I'm gonna mess this up. Neurofibromatosis type 1, which causes a non-cancerous tumors that grow on nerve tissues. So basically his face is disfigured in real life. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's a British actor. Well, this film is about the storyline behind this film is that actor, let me pull up my cast up real quick. His name is Sebastian Stan. He goes by Edward. Well, what they did in the film was that Adam Pearson, who in the film is Oswald, but this man with this disfigured face goes through a transformation to be like a regular person or have regular skin, and then he becomes an actor. That was his whole thing of being an actor. Well, the thing about the film is that the writer, now mind you, how I'm telling this because this is a spoiler, is the writer, not the writer of the film, but we're talking about in the actual movie or whatever. Young lady, she's a playwright or whatever. Well, she meets Oswald or she meets Edward when his face is disfigured, right? And so she writes a play or whatever about him pretty much. And so what happens is Edward, whose face is disfigured, he goes through this transformation to be like to get his face cured or whatever. And so then he goes in to act for her, the part that she wrote. And he's like, wait, you wrote this. Technically, she wrote the film about him, but when his face was disfigured. So he's playing this character. Well, what happens in the film is that a guy with the same disease as him comes in and she's like, yo, I need this face. This is who I wrote this for. So the whole time in this film, Edward is fighting with the idea of saying, man, I transformed to be this non-diseased person or a regular looking person. And now this person that's disfigured or has this disease is getting all the praise. And so I think the overall theme of the movie is basically we transform into these things, or we try to change ourselves instead of appreciating who we are. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was interesting, man. It's a really, really interesting film. I'm probably not doing it any justice by explaining it, because even as I was watching, I was like, damn, this is almost too real to this man's life, that they put it in film like this. But it is very, 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 very interesting throughout that film. So definitely check out A Different Man. I highly recommend that movie, and we'll come back and talk about it. You let me know what you think. I apologize if I just butchered the synopsis of it or whatever, but you definitely need to see it. You definitely need to see it. Now, man, I'm gonna move into Smile 2 because my man Daytrick has seen Smile 2, man. If you've seen
Yes, sir.
Smile 1, I enjoyed Smile 1. I thought it was clever. I thought it was a good thriller. I thought it hit all the things of paranoia, hallucination. I didn't know where they was gonna take it with Smile 2. And man, I would say with Smile 2, they took it to another level. I think it was a little bit more gory or more horrific. It had a lot of jumpy moments in there. But what I'm gonna say overall to the movie, it had me leaving thinking, what's real? Like, was this thing real?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like that they tried very hard to top the first one.
Yeah.
And sometimes in doing so, you can
Yeah.
get lost.
Yeah. It's kind of like doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I enjoyed it, but
I enjoyed it too. So for those who haven't seen it, real quick, Smile 2, the main character is a pop star, music star or whatever, and she done caught the demon on her, right? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, hopefully you've seen it, because I ain't gonna go into all of that. But what I highlight on in the film was that once again, man, what I've seen even in Smile One is this internal battle of people portraying to be happy, but really got demons inside of you or is really sad. And so what I seen from her was that as a musician and an artist, I felt like she really wasn't happy with being the artist that she was. She was being pushed a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what made me sit back and really just and just put it to actual real artists, right? Like, so when you look at it, man, there's a scene in there. She literally is telling her 2 times in there, she's telling moms, like, I can't go on stage. I can't do this. And moms is saying, so think of this in the manager sense, your moms is your manager or just any manager, and they push artists and say, no, you got to go out there. We got this money to make. You got to get out there and go perform. But I'm telling you that I can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you like, nah, it's money on the line. Your word is your word. Think about that. Think about being pushed to that level. And that she was literally saying, I can't perform. Like, I'm not doing well. Something is going on mentally. And it made me really sit and think about the art. Man, y'all know I'm an artist. I'm a musician. I think about this industry when people die from overdosing, suicide, and all these things. And this was really showing what that looks like.
And even the guy that was funding the tour,
Yeah.
she was losing it. And he was like, "But what about the tour?
What about the
Think
tour?
about the tour." Something like he said.
Like,
So it's like, really?
and think about that. Moms went off, told her that she was sacrificed her life for all of this, and that she needs to get out there. And she literally told her, she's like, Mom, something is not right with me. And so, my question to my audience is like, have you pushed people to that limit? Have you been pushed to that limit? Have we sat to think about when you're telling somebody like, I'm off mentally right now, but still having to go out and perform? You know what I'm saying? I felt like there was no empathy for her in that. And so even to the point of, like I say, it's like even the scene where the dancers is coming at her and doing all that, it was like she's trying to be on top and be people pleasing, but she's really not mentally there to be able to take that break.
Yep. I felt like it was going somewhere on the part where she was, or apparently
Yeah.
she took control of the demon by letting the demon know that she was in control.
Yeah.
I thought that, okay,
Yeah.
I see what they
Yeah.
okay. And
then you look up and it's not so that's the other mental, that's what I thought was interesting too, was the idea of like when you're going, a lot of things is mind over matter. Like you can tell yourself like if you lose, it's like, no, I got it. I'm in control. I'm under control. I got this. And I'm a real big believer of that. It's like, now you got to speak positivity into yourself. But also though, like I said, I empathize with her because I think when you're going through things mentally, you want to tell people, but you also want people to be able to listen to you. You know what I'm saying? But I thought what was also interesting is that, the hallucination piece to it is like, well, who can I trust? Who's there to help me and who's not there to help me? And so you all know how the end of the movie goes. She basically, and y'all know the whole premise of Smile. This demon, this entity goes person to person by you watch a suicide happen. So it's that trauma of seeing someone commit suicide in front of you, and that's how you get that spirit on you. Well, her as an artist, now mind you, I already done told you that she wasn't prepared to perform. They pushing her to get on this stage. Well, she commits suicide in front of everybody. So now we left with wondering is this film, is everybody affected? Everybody.
We're talking about probably 2,000-3,000 people.
Yeah. In the audience that just watched, just watched her commit suicide. So I think the also bigger play in that is how we view artists. You know what I'm saying? And watch them kind of go down that rabbit hole.
And I would say, like, that also displayed like the importance of a good PR. Because if her mama was her PR, and she was up on stage, and you could see her. Remember the part where she went on stage and talking in front of you see her losing it.
It's like
you supposed to yank it.
Yeah, get off stage.
Get off stage. Let it go on and let it go on and let it go on. And immediately, as a manager, PR, however, whatever role her mom played, she was supposed to
Stop
get
it.
off that stage.
Get off that stage. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. It's when people. I think it's that thing too, Dave. When we look at the folks with the power and the money and all of that, you know what I'm saying? And when everything comes so focused on the money, people forget about the actual human aspect of things. And so I just think, man, like I said, they did all the thrill things. They were in and out. It scared you. They had all the jump. I think they missed a few marks on some things, but like I said, overall, Smile 2 was a good little horror thriller. I'm waiting to see. I feel like they go knock out about 3-4 more. We don't know if this thing can ever be stopped or killed. You know what I'm saying? So I find that interesting. So if you haven't seen it, go see it. Let me know what you thought. Anything else that you peeped from it?
That was it. But I just hope that I really was hoping, and I hope that they're taking it because that demon seemed to be attached to the trauma and fear.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then there's a out.
There's an out. Yeah, that's. I mean, you would like to think.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because
sometimes they might overthink these.
They overdo it because and actually just going back because I sped through the first one before I went and watched the second one just to give myself a reminder, and it was like, once again, man, I think this whole movie, and I have to read more into it to see, is like, are they playing with our minds? Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's real and what's not real? Like that's what you.
Well, you didn't walk out of part one thinking like that.
I don't know though because hold on, I'm gonna take you back real quick because remember she went to the house or whatever, and I thought she was gonna try to defeat
part one.
In part one, the I don't know if she was a psychiatrist or whatever, because remember the dude the dude ended up getting it because he watched her kill herself. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know.
And he was at the beginning of part one and part two.
And he was the beginning of part two, yeah. Like so
start out saying 6 days later, 6 days after that.
6 days after that happened, right? And so, like I said, it was she was trying to get it off because what is it? The way you got to kill the person. That's how they can't commit suicide.
Yeah,
they have to die, yeah. Right? And so she was going there, and that was the other thing too. Remember in the first one, it was like she was dealing with the traumas of her mama, mm-hmm. and going through all that. So once she figured,
I gotta watch.
You gotta go back and watch part. Yeah. Go back and watch part one.
I remember feeling like this one really got me.
Well, no, this one really had me wonder. But when I went and watched that first one, I think it started off like we thought that the dude was the demon, mm-hmm. but then he was supposed to, because remember, then he was coming back to help her. Mm-hmm. You see, so back to that hallucination. Yeah. The hallucination thing. So, but this one they made it really obvious. They made it really obvious that it's like you can't tell what's what.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it definitely went too.
Yeah.
A little too far on that side of me.
Another movie I seen, and before I get to my movie of the day is I did see Saturday Night, and that's basically showing how Saturday Night Live got started. Or whatever, and I thought that was man, it was nostalgia for me in the sense of, like I said, it's like knowing Chevy Chase, John Belushi was a part of the beginning of Saturday Night Live, so it was more of a reminder. But seeing that film, I think my total overall thing that I got from it is, man, I thought it was interesting in seeing basically the whole pivot or the whole show takes place of Saturday Night Live. This is the first time a show was going live. You in competition with Johnny Carson, Peacock, NBC, that whole thing. But I think the bigger thing was taking risk. I mean, the whole film is based on an idea that this young man, I can't remember who's the creator of Saturday Night Live, but putting together this, and I don't know if they want to call them sketches or this show live and bringing these comedians in and seeing all the things, the pushback that they had to go through 2 hours before they go live or whatever. So I thought it was really dope the way they put that together. So I don't have much on it as more than just saying go check out Saturday Night. I thought it was a pretty good watch. But my movie, man, that I really recommend, specifically All Black Men. need to see is called Exhibiting Forgiveness. Y'all know, if you don't know anything about me, if I see a movie cover and there's black people on it, I'm going to go check it out. I had no idea what this movie was about, so I was just taking a risk. Y'all find that I do that often, but this is one I'm very grateful and glad that I went to go see. It's starring Andre Holland as the main character, Terrell. Andra Day, singer Andra Day, as Aisha. They have a son, Jermaine. John Earl Jelks plays the father, LaRon, and Ajane Ellis Taylor is the mother, Joyce. Black family premise, real quick synopsis. Exhibiting Forgiveness. Terrell, main character, he is an artist, a painter. He is a painter, and what makes his paintings very impactful is that, I mean, I think it deals with his emotions. So he's painting figures from his life, and basically, his father was a drug addict. Walked out on his mother. They were separated, and during this whole film was the battle of trying to forgive his father for the past. Terrell is now a father, and so you get to see this dynamic. The mother is basically, telling him like, hey, you have to forgive. God says forgive, and you should forgive. But he's dealing with the trauma of what he experienced growing up. And so, man, this film, this movie, man, it was heavy. It was heavy throughout because I'm a person who I'm a total believer in forgiveness and understanding. I think one thing when it comes to parenting, I think, and as you grow older, you realize there in our community there are a lot of parents who become parents young. So in their late teens, 19, 20, anywhere between 19, 25. And I think when you become 35, 40 years old, you get to realizing like, yo, like a 19-year-old parent, a 20-year-old parent, that's young. You have people that they're doing the best with what they have, right? But I think the other unique thing that this film shows is that no matter what, man, that the trauma that a child experienced from that upbringing. And so this whole battle that's going on is Terrell trying to forgive his father or his mother wanting him to forgive. And so what happens is his mother, Joyce, she comes to find out at the end she has a heart condition. So he's been trying to move her in with him, and she was refusing to leave. She didn't tell him about her heart condition. So he goes to visit, and so while he's there, she invites the father over. Well, Terrell is pissed off. He's like, I don't want to speak to him. How could you forgive him for what he's done? I don't want to talk to him. And she's like, Terrell, you have to learn to forgive. Go talk to him. He's trying. And so he took the moment to go talk to his father. But what he did, he had this disposition the whole time. It's this anger. And so his father at this point in time was he just got clean. He was just sober. I think maybe for a year or whatever, or he's changed his ways. And that was one of the big things was like, Terrell just kept saying to him, you've said this before, you've done this before, you've always said that, what makes this time different? So I thought it was a pivotal moment in the film where he's interviewing his pops. So instead of having an actual man-to-man conversation, he's like, yo, I'm gonna put this camera in front of you and we go talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And so he's asking his father about his upbringing and things like that. And so at a point in the film, the father tells him the story about how his father, when he found out that that his mother was pregnant or whatever, that he was pretty much disappointed. You know what I'm saying? And wasn't happy about it. He pretty much denied it. You know what I'm saying? It was like being a grandparent, all of that. He wasn't good about it. Well, Terrell's father, which was at that time which was his grandfather's son or whatever, told him how at one point in time they got into an argument, and his grandfather, Terrell's grandfather, put a gun to his grandmother's head. You know what I'm saying? And put a gun to Terrell's father, like to the son and the mother or whatever. And so Terrell is looking like, and you forgave him? Like, you just told me that he put a gun. He was like, yo, like, he wouldn't go. So the father's, his commentary was like, he wasn't gonna shoot us. He wasn't gonna kill us. That's just him. He just got angry. He was just upset. And so he carried that. Terrell couldn't understand. He was like, hold on, like, so you think this was okay? Like, you think this was okay? Which leads into, so Terrell's father was similar, abusive to the mother, abusive to his son, pushing him forward, making him work hard. He was the type of father that just pushed him. And then the money that they made, he would buy drugs with it. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so Terrell's seen all this. And so the whole premise of this whole film is him trying to get over that forgiveness. And I thought the key point in this movie, fast forward, what ends up happening is Terrell goes off on his mother, saying like, I don't know how you can forgive this man for everything that he's done. So he just talks crazy to her, pretty much sends her into having a heart attack. So boom, she goes into hospital, doesn't make it out, feeling bad, sorry. So now it's just him and his father trying to get through this relationship. And the last line, or one of the last lines, like I said, because this whole thing is built around God and church and forgiveness. He told his father, he said, I want to pull up this line because I think it's very important, and we can chop it up on it. He says, this is what he says to his father. He says, the future belongs to my family. You took the past and I forgave you, but the future, that's mine. So he was basically telling like, Pops, you can't be in my kid's life. You can't be in my life. And I'm sitting here like, I'm damn near in tears the whole time because I want him to forgive and patch up because Father has definitely changed his ways and all of that. But I also had to flip my brain into that child that was being abused and saying like, nah, I may have forgiven you, but I can't forget. And so then one of the last lines in the film, he walks to his father and he says, but you know what? Don't stop praying for me. So it's like a silver lining, like, I ain't fooling with you, but don't stop praying for me because I need to be delivered from that. So the reason why, like I said, I think it's a very important film for black men to see with their sons, because another premise in it is this idea of raising your child to be this hardcore, man, don't cry. Don't do this. That's the thing, is like, I'm going to do to you what was done to me. And that don't always work. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not, and I know Daytrick hasn't seen the film yet, but I do want to bring you in from this perspective of how you father, and you don't have to get too personal, but your relationship, or if you have a relationship with your father, if it was things, but just if there's any wisdom or insight that you can see in that, and just from what I've said about the film.
One, I would say that me and my wife recently, not long ago, had a conversation similar to where my son, I think he stumped his toe or something, and he had had that look on his face.
Yeah.
And she, as a woman, don't understand, but I wasn't serious in saying it, but I was like, boy, you just stumped your toe, that's all, man, ain't nothing wrong with you. And so she was like, see, that's the problem now. Man, y'all men think that it's not okay to cry. And I was like, I had to, because of me understanding that now, I had to bring her in as to what that really means for men. We're not talking about a boo-boo cry. We're talking about mental health. We're talking about, cry when it comes to dealing with the pressures of life. Not, I bumped my, hit my funny bone and cry.
Right.
Like, I'm like, yeah, man, toughen up on that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, we do need to, yes, it's okay to cry and let it out if you're dealing with some internal things or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Let that out. She took it as like I'm telling him not to cry.
Not to cry at all.
Yeah. I'm talking about when we say it's okay to cry, we need to, because we as men sometimes we get beat up by society and we'll hold that stuff in and we don't want people to know, and that is what hit us. Not that I broke my ankle. I broke my ankle. I've never cried over. I done broke several bones, never cried, but I've cried over like life, stuff like that. And so So I tried to find a way to be balanced in my kids' upbringing where it's because I got a lot of discipline, and growing up discipline, and there was no love.
Love, there you
We
go.
never told I love you and hugs and all this. I don't
Yeah.
never have that, and so I was like, you know what? Let me learn how to be balanced. I think that I think it's good to have discipline, and people seem to be on the far end of either one.
Right.
Too much, give your kids whatever,
Man.
or they just all disciplined.
Yeah.
You got to have balance, and I think that's for me, and that's what works for me.
So in your upbringing, though, the discipline that do you think that discipline caused resentment for your pops or anything like that, or maybe like as a kid, or did you understand growing up? How did you feel as a kid with getting that discipline? If it was super discipline.
Honestly, as a child, I didn't think too deep into it.
Okay.
When I got older, once I got probably in my teens, I found ways to use it to my advantage, to use it to manipulate and make everybody feel sorry for me.
Yeah.
But then when I got older, really got older, and that wisdom kicked in, I'm the type, and this is speaking for me.
Yeah.
I'm the type where I needed discipline.
There you go. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I needed it.
Yeah.
And so, if I would have had a parent that was let me run over them, and oh yeah, I would have ate all that up.
Yeah.
It would have been worse. Because really, that's what running into. I got sent to a alternative school where there was real discipline, and that's what changed my life.
Got you.
People checking me.
Yeah.
That's what really helps me. Helped me.
Yeah.
As a young man.
The accountability. And see, in this film, too, there was, like I said, you had the abuse, you had the addiction, you had this young boy that was being pushed to the extremes. I think it was they were working. They used to go pick up trash, and they would take like going through the neighborhood and taking stuff and then taking it to the dumpster, right? And at one point, the kid stepped on some glass. So to your point, the father was like, "Oh, you'll be all right," wrapped it up. And then the son said to him, "Dad, can we just stop for the day?" And he's like, "Nah," you know what I'm saying? Like, we go keep going. And then the boy ended up walking home, probably a teenager. And so pretty much didn't make his son walk home, but he's like, "Okay, if you go walk home. If you go quit. You know what I'm saying? So it was this tough love that probably wasn't always needed. You know what I'm saying? And so having that part, or even they working, like I said, and you taking the money and buying drugs and you pushing them, but even you seen his work ethic as he, and I tell my homegirls this all the time too. I say, and I'm saying two things because I want to go somewhere with that, is that be careful of how you talk about the father of your children, because that son still wants that relationship. And the reason why I say that is even in this film, even though he didn't like that abuse that he was receiving, there was still pieces in there where he was looking at Pops like, man, like, I get this work ethic from you. Like you showed me how to do this and push myself to this limit or to this level. And so I thought that was really interesting in that, you know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, when I look at this film, man, it was very emotional the whole time, because I'm like, dang, man, this newly father, he couldn't even sleep at night. He's having nightmares. Like, he hasn't got over it. And it's one of the things, like, man, you want to see people get over these type of things or get through them. But it's hard because he's reliving it. And whenever he would try to talk to his father about it, he's still carrying that anger. And I think that's the thing to also pay attention to, is like, you may be trying to get through something, but you might put that on your child and do something, yell at them or scream at them in a way. But I think that discipline is important, but I think there's levels to it as well. And so, like I said, man, this movie is, I can go on. I know my relationship with my father before he passed. I had to learn later, like he just talk loud. I talk loud. But I thought he yelled at me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's probably a little sensitive. Felt like that he yelled a lot. I mean, he did yell, but I think his voice was just naturally loud as well. And I appreciate the discipline. I didn't like the discipline back then, but I'm kind of like you. I needed discipline, I think it's helped me today. But I also understand, like, those moments that you look and remember and was like, oh, that might not been right. You know what I'm saying? that parenting style of skill might not been
I had
been right.
my son about a month ago, the 18-year-old. He was like, it was something happened. He was kind of like, I can't remember what it was, but he was like, man, you being like extra hard on me. No, he had a face. He had that face, and I asked him. I said, "What's up? You just being hard for no reason." I was like, "No reason." So I explained to him. I said, "I'm sorry, my bad. I won't be hard on you. I thought you wanted to be great." I said, "I thought you wanted to be great. My bad." And I explained to him when he said, "I do." I like, well, let me. It's like when you working out in the gym, you ain't gonna throw 20 pounds on there expecting to get get some muscles.
Right.
Man, you gotta put that weight on there that's actually gonna
do something.
work your muscles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the little pressure I'm putting on you, I'm like, son, you got a nice riding car.
Yeah.
You didn't have to,
Yeah.
Like, you got a lot.
of
you don't even understand.
You don't even know.
That the level of access that you've had.
Yeah.
So you think that I'm being hard on you, and then probably about a week later he came back and said, apologized. I'm like, man, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, because you'll probably always have kids that's gonna think you're the hardest on them ever, or people. Period. My job, I'm manager at my job, and it's like certain people we have hired come in, they think that this is the hardest job ever. So it's like you have people that's the easiest. It's the hardest. You have people that thinking that, man, you're the toughest dad. Some people, man, you're an excellent dad. So, I believe that I've been equipped with what I need to be an excellent dad. And I can't let myself get wrapped up in their feelings. You know what I mean? How you think I'm being hard. So let me lighten up. No.
Yeah.
I'm probably not hard enough.
No,
but, I parent in stages, so I'm hard. This people don't really get it, but it worked for me. I got 6 kids and it worked.
Yeah.
I'm harder early.
Yeah, okay.
And I lighten up as they get older.
Yeah, it's foundation.
Yeah, and I'm harder earlier, and then as they grow, as they get closer to teenage years, and then 16, 17, 18, I lighten up, because at this point you got to make a decision. As to what you're gonna do.
And I think, and I like all that, and I think one of the big things in this film is with this father-son situation is the trauma of substance abuse, and seeing what that happens to if your father is a drug abuser or alcoholic. And I think, man, overall, I think kind of what I've learned and just the things I've experienced in my family is that, man, the drugs and alcohol is a real addiction that makes people out of character, and so it's not to make an excuse for them, but it's to understand what that does. And I think that's why I say I think it's something we all need to see and talk about on both sides of like I said, is like in this film, the father was saying, I got this high and I was doing this and I chased that high. But I also think, and so you have the son looking at him like, man, why would you do that? And he's telling him the pressures and stuff that he's seen around and what was going through him. And I thought it would have been interesting for the father to be able to listen to the son and say, man, this is what this did to me. This hurt me in this way. And I think throughout the movie, the father was more like, let's just forgive and get on and get over it. And it's like, I can't get over that because these are the things that this did to me. And so, man, I want to encourage everyone to see that film. Ladies, if you have little brothers or father, like I said, I think the whole family should see, but I definitely think, like I said, if you've experienced any addiction in the family, if you see men that are going that could use an extra tool of forgiveness, because like I said, that's the premise. It's called exhibiting forgiveness. He is an artist, a painter, so I thought that was really dope the way they tied that in. Yes, sir. Yep.
I officially met my daddy. I was 21 years old. And he tried to give me all these reasons and all this stuff, and I said to him, even because I was kind of old for the 21, with all I had been through, I said to him, listen, there's no need to explain. I said, let's start from here. Any opinion I form, it'll be from here on out. It won't be from the past. It'll be from here on out. Just be my dad, and so that was me, and that came from like I hated him.
Yeah, that's mature. I mean, that's very mature of you at that age.
Him. Like I to the point where I remember being probably 12 years old. Somebody asked me about my dad, and I told them that he was dead.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I had to come a long way. So yeah.
That's huge. That's big, man. That's what's up. That's really big because in this film, this guy was in his 30s, mid 30s, and he's still carrying that. Didn't want him to be a part of his kid's life. So, like I said, for me, I'm just a forgiving person. I want to see, and I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, man, just forgive your pops. Like he's clean now. He's doing all the things. But then when they start showing the inside of what he had to experience as a kid, then it set me back, and I was like, oh, that's tough. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
like,
I gotta say one more thing.
Yeah.
Then I got a younger brother that's
Yeah.
right under me. I'm 46. He's probably around 44, 45. He still can't forgive.
So there you go. Yeah.
So it's hard. It's crazy. You have two people that grew up, and it's like how they can be so different.
Different, yeah. No, but I mean, but it's how you interpret things. But I think also the other thing though too, man, you have to want to, right? Yeah. Like, cause that's what I was hearing a lot. Like I hear sometimes, you know, and I ask friends that it's like, man, do you want to move on from this? Do you want to, or do you want to carry this? Like, and that's the thing. Is like sometimes it's just. Sometimes, and what the mother was saying is like, yo, God forgives. So bringing everything back to a religious spiritualities is like God forgives. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we say is like, man, it's we can forgive. You may not forget. And I like what you said is like, man, I would like to just start right here and move forward. Yeah. But I think you have to want, man, that whatever happens to kids and what it does to them, I think that's where that therapy and have to talk through it to say, I want to move past it. Yeah. And it's just different. For everybody, man. That's crazy. Yeah. That's wild.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, man. So like I said, man, I'll be honest with you all. I was going back and forth for the past week to see if I even wanted to touch on this. There's so much more that I would like to get into with this film. I'm a monitor every my comments and stuff and see if you all go see it. I would like to have more conversations on this one because that'll bring me back to the movie I told y'all to go see, Sing Sing. But I'm, real big on black men just getting through the system. We go through a lot of stuff is passed down and passed on. You just heard producer Datrix say he didn't meet his father till he was 21. I dealt with my father passed when I was young. There's all these things we've all probably have somebody in our family that's a alcoholic or a drug abuser. Like, so these are real stories that we don't talk about publicly. You know what I'm saying? And knowing how to channel that energy and make sure we don't put that on our kids, or how do you discipline this young man to bring him up in this world, but also show him love. But it's hard to show him love if you was never shown love. Daedric said he didn't hear I love you or these words. So how do you transfer that to your son? Sometimes you can overly do it or know this, and so finding that balance. So these are things I would like for us to get into, and I'm glad they put it in this movie form. For us to kind of speak to that. And hopefully, like I said, things like this, stories, talks like this will make it easier for other men. And we can just go on being a backbone and a bridge for each other. So once again, it's another episode. Yeah.
So, no, I'm going to. Yeah. So I like what you did there when you invited people to interact. So let's do more of that in these episodes.
Yep.
Inviting people to, when it play,
yep.
to
interact.
So just mention that, because sometimes you gotta tell people.
Yeah.
So mention that as on your closeout.
Yep. So man, once again, y'all, like I'm glad you joined me. Like I told you, I was going back and forth with this film. Exhibiting Forgiveness is really deep, but I would really appreciate if you all leave comments, interact with me. Let me know your thoughts about it. Let me know any experiences you've had. And like I said, that's going to keep this thing going. We want to have deeper, more conversations to be able to help somebody else out and just create that atmosphere in a community. So once again, like I said, you need to subscribe, but definitely leave a comment for your boy about any of the films that I've talked about in these things. And we'll be right back with another episode of Mall on Movies. Peace.